As a preliminary matter, this is Shashi Menon, the chairman of the Shrewsbury Council on Aging Board. Please permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Barbara DiPaolo? Barbara, are you present?
She's muted.
Barbara, can you please unmute and answer?
Oh, I'm very sorry. Yep, I'm here.
Virginia Leonard is going to be late. Louise Russell.
Here.
Zoya Mehta. Zoya, unmute and answer.
Yes. Took a while.
Norma Giamantaro.
Here.
Betsy Zweig.
Here.
And the staff. Holly Look, Director.
Present.
Christine.
Present.
Moriarty.
Present.
Good morning. This open meeting, this is the introduction to the remote meeting. This open meeting is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. The order, which you will find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded, so the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. For this meeting of the Council on Aging Board is convening by Google Meeting as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. The meeting ground rules. We're now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, the chairman, will introduce each board member or staff who has a lead role for this particular item or guest speaker associated with this item or the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members first, then to the staff member, inviting each member by name to provide any comment or questions. I will then call upon the members to offer a motion and then for a second. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute and unmute your phone when you're not speaking so as not to trigger the video camera feed or background noise. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in colloquy with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. Does anybody have any questions before we begin? The first item on the minutes is to accept the October 2020 minutes. I wish to make an addition here. There are two other minutes from two previous meetings that have not come up for approval. I would like to address them as one issue instead of three separate issues. Does anybody have any objection to that? Has everybody seen the minutes? Anybody have any comments? Betsy?
I have a comment. I have two comments actually. With regard to the minutes of August 12th, I think that was one of the three sets of minutes that you're talking about. It identifies me, a member in attendance, and it pointed to the board until September. So I was not at that meeting in August.
Cut and paste error. All right, we will take that out.
And then the second item I wanted to mention was with regard to the October minutes, and it's the item under scholarship. I'm not sure if this is the right time in the meeting to look at this, but under scholarship, it mentions that you had wanted to possibly earmark one scholarship for a student headed for a community college, as not everybody wanted to pursue an academic career. I may be hypersensitive about this. I've been at Quincy at the community college for over 30 years. And all of our programs are academic programs. In fact, more than half of them lead to bachelor's degrees. And I think that that statement might be misleading. And again, it may be me being hypersensitive, but I wouldn't want anyone in the community to read that and think that they would go to a community college because it's not an academic institution. I just needed to say that.
Yes, we can fix that. But however, Holly, you want to comment on the scholarship itself and where we stand?
So again, my priorities have shifted a little bit. Barbara's got her hand up.
I'll be right there. Go ahead, Holly, finish up.
So my priorities, since I had brought up the scholarship 2 months ago, have shifted a little bit, and I've been, myself and the staff have been more concentrating on, you know, programs that are happening right now, things that we have to get off the ground before winter comes. You know, we're preparing for closure just in case. So that's where I'm at right now. So, but I do agree with Betsy.
All right. I mean, when I reworded that statement, I meant it in the sense that somebody is not going to a traditional four-year college as opposed to a community college. Somehow, I didn't get the words quite right. Barbara?
I think we talked about it being for high school seniors for 2 seconds. And then we immediately shifted to the fact that it would be an adult senior. So I don't know why there's so much information about a high school senior when we really did talk about that for a very short time and then went right to an adult senior wanting to take classes. So I don't know why that's even in there.
It was recorded because it's on the tape of what we actually talked about. So what is the consensus? Louise, you had a question.
I was just going to mention to the same thing that Betsy said. I agree with that same thing, to have it changed. With the community college is definitely an academic school, and I make a motion that we amend the minutes to how to say it, to acknowledge that the community college is an academic school.
That's fine. I have no problem with that. It was not meant to be a derogatory statement in any way. It's
No, I made a motion, Shashi.
Yep. Is someone seconding it?
I certainly will second it.
Good. Let's take a vote on that. Barbara? I'm sorry. Did Barbara, you have a question?
Well, we have to vote, I guess, on this first.
All right. Barbara, how do you vote?
I support that all colleges are academic.
All right.
This is Norma. I have a slightly different question.
So we're voting now.
Norma,
Okay.
we're voting.
Now, I'm a little confused as to whether or not this scholarship is solely for a high school senior, or if it's for an adult senior, like over 60, or someone out of high school. I'm a little bit confused as to that.
Norma, can you hold that question for a minute?
Sure.
Louise has a question. We're in the middle of a vote, and we're voting to change the words academic, and that's all we're voting on right now. So let's get that out of the way, and then Holly can then give us an update on where we're going with the status of the scholarship itself. But I think Louise has a question.
That was my question. Well, that's a double question. That we're only voting on my amended motion, not on the minutes themselves. When this motion is done, then we need a motion for the minutes as a total. Before Holly does any more, her conversations will be during her report, not during the minutes.
So let's go back and complete the voting.
Yes,
Barbara, are you in favor?
I said I was in favor of all colleges being academic.
Louise?
yes,
Zoya?
Yes.
Norma?
Yes.
Betsy?
Yes,
So the motion is passed. The minutes will be amended to read that all colleges are academic. Zoya?
We seem to be a little confused about where this and to whom the scholarship is going. We
That
have
is
to
correct.
we have to decide.
That
whether
is
it's-
correct. Holly is in the process of redefining the scholarship, redefining who it's for and what it's going to do. Am I right, Holly?
You are correct. I had taken this off of the agenda purposely, as I just mentioned a few minutes ago. I have different priorities right now than where this came up 2 months ago. So I don't even have any other information to give you. I have other things that I have taken its place.
However, if you look at the minutes, it does say that Holly is, what exactly does it say? Does anybody have the minutes handy?
yeah, I do.
What exactly does it, doesn't it say that Holly is reinvestigating or reevaluating? What does it say?
Holly felt she needed time to think more about the scholarship program and will put it on the November agenda.
Well, do we need to modify that? Louise?
Josh, we have not accepted the minutes. We are going into other subjects. We need to accept the minutes as amended.
Yes, the minutes can be accepted as amended. However, we have to identify
Make that motion.
the scholarship is being, we need to also amend the minutes to say that the scholarship is being redefined.
No, the scholarship, my motion was just for the colleges. Now you
Yes,
need a,
that has
now
already
you
been,
need a, you need a motion now to accept the minutes as amended. And then we can go on to other discussions. You've got to finish the minutes first.
okay, Barbara?
Sashi, I think my minutes, the minutes I did, that I sent out, that you amended to do your style, never mentioned these first two sentences. I never mentioned that the proposed scholarship was originally intended for high school seniors, because we never said that. And I did never mention the money for the scholarship was, well, I did mention the gift fund, but we did not, nothing was, the minutes I took never mentioned anything about a community college pursuing an academic career. So I don't know, there's a lot of extra stuff in there that never was in my minutes.
It's in the tape. I played the tape.
Oh. Well, I would say the only thing I remember is that it was going to come out of the gift fund, and that Zoya said it was intended for seniors.
And I said that the business about, I was the one who said the business about community college. And at that point, Holly said that she needed time to think and redefine how the scholarship is going to be. And that's where we ended. It's on tape.
It might be on tape, but it wasn't the focus. It might have been words said, but it wasn't the focus of what we were intending
Well,
to do.
we have a difference of opinion. I feel that the minutes should record the discussion, that we should record the stuff, that issues that were raised.
I need to intervene for a moment because we're already 15 minutes in. We haven't moved on.
That's right.
When I brought up the scholarship idea a couple of months ago, it was simply just an idea to talk about. I feel as though there's a lot of time being concentrated on here right now, and I didn't add it to November's agenda. As I just mentioned, I feel that there are other things that we need to move forward with that are more important at this time due to the status of the center and the COA. So as Louise mentioned, I think that you all need to vote on the minutes What was said last month is now different this month. And that's my statement for November agenda right now.
Louise,
I move that we accept the October 7th minutes as amended.
anybody seconding it?
I
I
second that.
second it.
I second it.
All right, let's take a look at that. Barbara,
Yes.
Louise,
Yes,
Zoya,
Yes.
Norma,
Yes.
Betsy,
Yes,
the minutes is passed. We can now move on to the financial reports.
Okay. So, same sheets that I send you guys every month. We have the budget summary that gives the breakdown of each account. I have updated the formula grant number to reflect the total amount. Our allocation for the year is $79,056, or sorry, $79,056. So of that, we have $60,223.51 left. Does anybody have any questions on the formula grant?
What document are you looking at?
The budget summary. Well, I'm kind of looking at both, to be honest. So we have $60,223.51. If anybody has a question about the formula grant, I'll take that now.
Louise?
Christine, I'm having an awful time, as you know, with these reports that we're getting. First thing, I don't find any dates on them. Are we to assume that this report is from October 1st to October 31st?
So for the formula grant specifically, I've been totaling up everything from July 1st on. I have, and Louise, this is my mistake, I printed this out for you, but the file names are all labeled. So what I do is I take the expenses as of what was left off the last report. So I have, when I put these together, I had paid bills through 10/13. And there's a couple things in here from, or sorry.
If
10/29, that's my mistake.
so you transferred all the reports we got before into this report. So that's why the formula grant is in total then from July 1st
Correct.
through October 13th.
Yes.
It's not for the whole month of October then.
No, but there were no other expenses until this upcoming warrant, which will have more, but that will show on December's report.
Is there some way that you can put on here the dates, the period that these reports cover? And all the
Sure.
reports are the same. None of them have any dates on them. And we're assuming, which is something you should never do, I guess. You need the facts. Just what period that these reports are covering.
I will do that. I'll add the period, but I do date every transaction on the detailed report. So you'll see all the dates listed in that very first column is when those bills were paid.
No, I understand that.
So, but I'll add the period at the top.
And that would be good to do that. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Not on that one.
Okay, and then the gift fund, we currently have $44,547.17. We have received quite a bit of sponsorship donations for our Feed a Senior program that Holly will talk about later, which has been absolutely phenomenal. We're so happy that this has gone off to a great start. So at the time of the report, when I put this together on 10/30, we had collected $1,725, and the amount has gone up since then. I don't have a total now. I just picked up a couple more checks, but I can give that to you later on.
Louise?
Yes. Naturally, the gift account, Here again, I'm assuming that when it says starting balance, that was the balance that was left from the month before. Am I correct in that?
Yes.
If I look at the one we got in October, it said that the current balances then would be what is left at the end of the month.
So there, if you look at the budget summary, there is a note at the bottom that the previous month reports totals did not include money that was encumbered or set aside in purchase orders. And that was my mistake. The report, I'm still learning how to read the reports that I pull out of the system.
Well, that's the thing. I'm having a hard time reading this because this current report says that our starting balance is $44,941. The ending current balance as of October was 43,000.
So there was a discrepancy. There was money that was set aside as it was encumbered that was left out of the total. So I have fixed that in this current report.
So these are the correct ones, and we started
Yes.
this month with October, I should say, 44,900.
Yes.
And so the current balance now is 44,547.
Yes.
That's correct?
Yep.
I had a question on what are the bingo prizes? What is bingo?
So I've been hosting virtual bingo, and I have a few ladies that.
Toya?
This donation of Help Feed a Senior, are we continuing with that program? We had decided not to because the MCO, the Council on Aging had decided that if we put in the money, yes, Holly, go ahead.
Shashi, if I may, I'd like to just continue with what Christine has to say about the budget reports, and then my director report will answer all the questions.
Okay.
Yes, well, I figured that. We'll come back to that. Because I have a question about that too. Is there anything left to discuss and any other questions about the financial report? Before we leave this topic, those of you who sat in on the seminar on the open meeting law, I sat in on that seminar, and it turns out that the minutes have to be publicly accessible, but not only the minutes, but all supporting documents have to be publicly accessible. So we have to figure out a way to get these financial reports also published alongside the minutes. Whether you want to include this and cut and paste into it or patch it as a separate document, those details have to be worked out.
I can handle that, Shashi.
Okay, I have a question for you. The financial reports of months and years gone by, do you know how the public can get access to it?
I have the ones that I put together. Before me, I'd have to go back through the previous office assistance files. But I can speak for my reports at least.
Okay. All I want to say is we need to be prepared to produce them. If so far nobody has challenged us, but if somebody has a question regarding one of these documents, we should be able to produce them. The old minutes, the old financial reports, these should be accessible to the public. Okay, let's move on.
Shashi?
Yes.
Shashi, excuse me.
Yes,
Are
Russell.
we going to do the revolving account and the general fund?
Do we have those reports?
They are included. If anybody has any questions about those, I can certainly answer any questions.
Where's the revolving?
I had a question about the revolving account. The total starting balance is less than the current balance.
Yeah, because
we got a deposit from the housing. And
yes,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
We actually deposited more money than we spent out of the revolving account last month. That's why the total is higher than it was previously.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then the formula grant, I'm sorry, the general fund.
Yes.
What is the funds for newsletter mailing? $2,000.
So we replenished the permit for the Friends group to do the mailing. So that's the permit that pays the postage to do the mailing of the newsletter. We added $2,000 for the rest of the year. Holly had allocated $4,000 out of the general fund at the beginning of the year for the newsletter. So that's about half of our budget.
Oh, okay. That's what I wasn't sure. And what are the town cell phones?
Those are the driver cell phones for the vans,
Driver?
as well as Holly's work phone.
Okay, I wasn't sure what those were. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions about any of the accounts? Okay.
I have a question, Christine.
Yes.
When you say the cell phones, does that include the iPads?
So
Because
the
they need internet connection too.
The iPads come from or are serviced by Route Match. So where is it here? The $270 is only for the iPhones in the vans and for Holly's work phone.
Monday, I'm doing it scheduled for Thursday and Friday, but
All right. Any other questions on the financial reports? All right. If there are none, we can move on to the director's report. First item being the resource guide,
Yep.
pricing and distribution.
Yep. So first, I want to thank Christine for just doing a really good job with managing all of the accounts. It's not easy, let me tell you. Lots of hoops to jump through. So she's been doing a great job. So I just wanted to give her kudos really quick. So the resource guide, yes, we did have, I believe it was 100 that we had printed and bound. They came out wonderful, as a matter of fact. They're in our office. We have given out a few already. We did ask for a $2 suggested donation on them, but they can be picked up, free of charge. Again, they look great and they're available. So if people wanted to come in and make an appointment to either pick one up, or we have put some in the mail, so we can get them to people really quick. But they came out really, really good. And I think it's a great resource tool for anybody in town who is 60 and over, or even, 50 and over that, it's just looking for some information. It's going to be right at their fingertips. And the reason why I decided to only do 100 at a time is because, organizations are always growing or they're changing. And as Louise mentioned, when she helped, with the edits, phone numbers change and things like that. So instead of having a stockpile of books or booklets, we figured we'd start out slow and, like I said, revise and replenish as needed. But they look really great, and if everybody wants one, we'd be happy to put one in the mail for you. If anybody has any questions on that, I'm going to move on to the Friends. So last week, Louise, Christine, and myself met with a few of the Friends members because I really wanted to. My goal of the meeting was to really kind of figure out what the relationship was in the past and what our relationship should be going into the future. And one of the things that Christine and I found when we were looking through old papers and compared it to other towns and how their relationship works with their friends group. And what we found was other towns don't ever reimburse the friends group. It's supposed to be just the opposite. The friends group is supposed to reimburse the council on aging. The only time that ever doesn't happen is if they decide that on let's just say I was having a dance and for whatever reason, they didn't want to reimburse us for something that I wanted for the dance. That's okay. And if we had the funds, we would therefore pay for it. But what's been happening is it's pretty much it hasn't been correct in the past. So going forward, what we're going to do is we even worked out a couple of general ideas for the Friends of to come up with to really kind of enhance their Friends of group and the opportunities that they can do for the community, for the seniors in Shrewsbury. We did come up with a couple of fundraising, maybe ideas that they can go forward. So it started off as a rocky meeting, but I think it ended really on a positive note. And they were pretty excited, to think about the things that, going forward and what they can do. One of them being a monthly meeting at the senior center. I won't go into details because we're not there yet because of the status of the senior center. But again, it was a very positive meeting, and they do have some goals. So hopefully, they can get new members going forward. It was a good meeting. Does anybody have any questions about that for the Friends of meeting that I had with them? Okay, good.
Holly, is this an informal meeting or is it a formal meeting? Are you going to publish?
No, it was informal. It was informal. It was just to talk about going forward with our relationship. So there were no minutes taken or anything like that, because right now they're not active because of the pandemic. So they don't really have much going on right now. Okay. Going forward, so I think the next thing is the bilingual volunteers. So I want to put a little spin on that and kind of incorporate it with the item that talks about the tax work-off program. So right now, one of my focuses, I have two main focuses: mental health and nutrition. So for mental health, what Christine and I have been trying to do is come up with opportunities and programs that will kind of engage seniors and be able to still do things at home in a safe environment, and still give opportunities where seniors can work for the Senior Tax Work-Off program. So for instance, we're calling it a bilingual assistant instead of a volunteer, because what we're looking for is somebody who speaks, different languages that can help us. For instance, when I put a flyer together, put the flyer in a different language so we can send that flyer out as well as the flyer that I put together, because I feel like we've been doing a really good job trying to get, our mission out there, and the Council on Aging, we've been doing a great job, but we're missing a huge, society, because we're so multicultural in Shrewsbury, and just like every other town, that we thought, you know what, we're only really focusing on one group, and we need to enhance that. So the bilingual volunteer or the bilingual assistant opportunity for the tax work-off program, they would have to work 68.2 hours for the year. They would have to, they would work under my supervision. And again, they would help anything that I put together, put it into another language. So that is one tax work-off position. We also have another one. Sometimes I get caught up and I can't finish a task because I have to start another task. And one of those tasks is I'm also looking for a program coordinator for a tax work-off position. And again, 68.2 hours. I'm looking for somebody to take the time to go look to see what other towns are doing on their website, for programs that are virtual or at home. And this would be a tax work-off opportunity. So we're trying to come up with creative ones. And again, the reason we're doing that is to really help people with their mental health. Oh, another one is grant writing. All of that is the same. DPW just sent us, you need a representative assistant, administrative assistant over there. So we're really trying to make opportunities so people can still continue to save money in the worst time ever and still stay focused and busy and keep their brains active. On top of that, what we're also doing is we're trying to get ready for the winter and know that people are home and isolated. So we're trying to come up with different kind of not competitions, but their own. Someone put their. So one of our things going into January, where we came up with, it's called Commit to Be Fit. So we just recently purchased from the gift fund pedometers, water bottles. I'm going out to buy calendars. So I really want people to really just think about getting up and staying and moving around, staying active, even if it's only in their house, even if it's only walking around. So the purpose of the pedometers is for people to stay focused and have a goal each day and try to beat the steps each day. Purpose of the water bottle is to stay hydrated, obviously. The purpose of the calendar is to, write their accomplishments every single day. And Christine and I are trying to figure out a way for us to put this online. So if people want to share what they're doing every day, every month, they can kind of look and see what, say, Barbara's doing, and Louise can be like, you know what, I might want to beat Barbara's goal, or however they look at it. So we're just trying to, like, a little bit think outside the box. And like I said, nutrition and mental health right now are my main focus, which is why I tabled the scholarship for right now. We'll always have plenty of time to, figure out and make that great. But right now I'm more worried about the winter. Going forward on that, what I just wanted to mention really quick too, since I was just talking about nutrition, was I did receive an email 2 days ago from Elder Services of Worcester, and we have the opportunity to acquire 30-pound boxes of food. And in those boxes of food, there's onions, cheese, meats, potatoes, all kinds of things. So it's 30-pound boxes. So I called Melinda over at St. Anne's Church. She has requested 15. I've notified Shrewsbury Housing Authority. I'm going to give them 15. And we are going to keep the rest. And I'll explain more on what we're going to do with those boxes in just a moment. But I just want to make sure that I stay bulleted. But does anybody have any questions so far on anything that I've said?
Holly, I presume this is uncooked, raw, food. So these people must be able to have the facilities to prepare food, which we really do not have at the senior center.
Right. So in past months, the food that we received from Elder Services, and it's actually the food box program, which comes from United Way, I believe, it's been frozen. This time it's going to come chilled to us, which is almost better because people can take it home and actually use it right there and then, or they can take it home and freeze it. But yes, it is not prepared. It is as if you were to go to a grocery market and you have to go home to prepare. So while I'm on this topic, just so I don't cause anybody any confusion, I'm just going to kind of derail a little bit. So Christine mentioned earlier about the grab and go meals. So we have a list, and it's growing every single day, of people that are receiving grab and go meals. Every time somebody calls for a grab and go meal, with the money that we've received from the sponsorship, which I think the last time Christine gave me an update, and I'm sure it's more by now, was $2,025. Every time somebody calls for a grab and go meal, we tell them what the menu is, and we sign them up 48 hours before, and they can choose as many meals as they want. Right now, some of these people are getting a whole month of meals, and this was the goal. The other thing that we're doing when people call is we say, we want to remind you that we're able to do this right now through sponsorships. However, this won't be able to continue forever. And what we recommend is you can now, apply for Meals on Wheels. So the Meals on Wheels is a great thing because now they know that it's the same people that are making the grab and go meals, which people are enjoying, are the same people that are doing the Meals on Wheels meals, which is fantastic. And then we remind them that the Meals on Wheels meals are delivered by a trusted volunteer, Shrewsbury volunteer. So the goal of it all is if these people still continue to need food, that they can then apply for Meals on Wheels, and we'll guide them and give them the phone number. And Elder Services of Worcester have been fantastic, and that's the growth. So there's all different reasons why we're doing things. And I believe when we started this, we were at 27 seniors. I'm not sure, Christine. I'm sure it's up by now. I'm not sure if you have a more accurate number.
I think we're added a couple people since we started giving out the meals. So I think we might be right around 30.
So, and I just want to remind people that, so this grab and go opportunity is also available to people who are already on Meals on Wheels. So Shashi, as you know, as well as anybody else, the Meals on Wheels is 1 meal a day. You know, we're supposed to eat 3 meals a day. So if the people that are on Meals on Wheels want to take advantage of the grab and go meals, they can also do that, which means they get another meal in that day. We have made it so we do have people coming to the center, and now they're coming to the front of the center because we're trying to make sure that everything is safe for the snow. So we've moved tables to the front entrance. So now Beth and her team are now stationed in the lobby area, and people come to the front circle area because it's nice and plowed, it's safe, there's an overhang, there's a doorbell they can ring. So we've moved the grab and go to the front of the building. Beth has been doing a fantastic job, really. Oh, I see Zoya's hand up.
Christine, I have a question.
Zoya was asking a question. I think she was muted.
I'm sorry, somebody's talking over me?
Zoya was trying to ask a question, but she was muted.
Just a minute, Zoya. It seems to me that Meals on Wheels and Grab and Go are 2 programs that are running in parallel. They are really not the same, one and the same. Is that correct? Because as I understand it, the Meals on Wheels program is run by Elder Services. Elder Services interviews each patient, each recipient, assigns a caseworker. And
yes,
in this case, any senior can apply for the meal and essentially bypass Elder Services. So I'm not clear as to the relationship between the two, between what you're doing and what Elder Services is doing.
So as I mentioned before, so the purpose so a lot of people don't want to take the time because they don't want to, give out their information, or they're not sure if they're going to like the meals. And they just, some people just would rather not eat. So the purpose of this is all spin from September's free grab and go meals. All of this built because we wanted to see who really was taking advantage of that, who really needed the efforts. And then we sat with, I sat with Beth, the meal manager for Meals on Wheels. And I'm like, we need to know who we should be contacting again to see if they need meals. So you're right. So to do Meals on Wheels, you have to do an application, and you do it through Elder Services. The grab and go is another opportunity for these people to acquire another meal should they need it. Because sometimes that Meals on Wheels is only that one meal. If they want another grab and go, they order through us. It has nothing to do with Meals on Wheels. But again, the other purpose is we always tell them that eventually this program is going to stop. It's going to stop. So, we're hoping that they enjoy the meals enough that we can then get them to apply for Meals on Wheels. And that's exactly where we want it to be. But, again, through the winter, this is a great program for people to eat probably more than they've eaten in quite a bit. So I hope I answered your question. I see Zoya's hand up.
So what you're saying is the people are still getting this meal free. We are paying by the donations which are given. Is that right?
Correct. The donations we get, we ask the donors when they call, the people that sponsor, to specifically write in the notes that it is for sponsor Feed a Senior. So that way we know when the money, just as Louise always mentions, she wants to know when the money gets donated, is it just for us to use, or is it for a specific cause? So we always tell people to write it in the notes. And when they don't, we even follow up with a phone call. Did you forget to write something? Some people say, nope, you can use it for whatever you're doing. And like I said, we have gotten really positive feedback for the things that have been going on in the last, 5 months, and this being one of them. And the donations just keep coming. So, and until they stop or until we discontinue this program, this is how we're going to continue. So I did.
are the members coming for the grab and go encouraged to pay for the meal?
No. So when we notify them, so Christine put a nice letter together stating that, you know, they have an opportunity to be sponsored for meals. And we tell them that this is paid under sponsorship. And we also send them 2 menus. So for instance, we send them 2 November menus. So we ask them to circle the days that they want on one menu, and then circle it again on another menu. They keep one menu. They send us the other menu back with a self-addressed stamped envelope. So it comes back to us. As soon as we receive it, we call them back just to confirm these are the dates. We also make them understand that say they receive 20 meals and say they don't pick up one of the meals, that technically still means that was one of their 20. So what we do is then if somebody doesn't come, we end up giving it to one of the Meals on Wheels volunteers in the kitchen to take home. So so there's no I forgot or anything. They call and cancel within 48 hours.
This is going a little. Shashi, can I please?
Go ahead, Sawyer.
This is going a little out, but I think Shashi had mentioned it a couple of months ago that the menu should contain the nutritional value of the food which is being supplied at the back of the page. That has not been included in the last 2.
There's in the newsletter, there's not enough room to put that in the newsletter. So I did post that information online. I do have to put up the nutrition information for November, but that was included to all of the sponsored meals participants. So it had the nutrition information on the back of all of the menus.
Okay.
Holly, I have a question. Luis, I'll be with you 1 second. I have a question. Has to do with payment. The Meals on Wheels recipients vary in the amount that they pay for the meal. It could be $2.50. It could be nothing, depending upon your particular situation that they've worked out with Elder Services. Now, if they decide to get another meal, will they continue with whatever they are paying?
Yes. So their relationship with the Elder Services doesn't change, and Elder Services determines what their meals, how much their meals cost each day. So that doesn't change anything for the Meals on Wheels program. Nothing. So when Elder Services helps the client go through the application and they ask the specific numbers of, you know, their financials, their financial background, that's how Elder Services determines what they pay for each meal. And then that is and then somehow that is factored out and they're paid through, I don't know if it's insurance or what it is. But that has nothing, that doesn't affect the grab and go meal.
So what you're saying is that somebody who's paying $2.50 for Meals on Wheels can come to this program and get a second meal for free?
Yes, that's exactly what this is.
And this second meal is paid by the donated money?
Correct.
Luis had a question.
You're on mute, Louise.
I forgot, sorry. Yeah, is it possible for the board to get copies of these letters and things that are being inserted? I would like to see what's being given out or set out. I think it would help us understand a little more maybe if we had some of the paperwork that goes along with this.
Sure, we can share that with you. And while we're on the topic, so these meals are not included, the grab and go meals. There are no grab and go meals on holidays, okay? And so what I did was I reached out to the police and fire station, and then they got in contact with their union associations. And their unions are, so for instance, the police association, the union, I want to make sure that I'm saying this right. It's not the police department, it's the union, has agreed to pay for 27 meals. And we're getting those from Heart to Home Meals out of Marlboro. And those are going to actually be delivered to those 27 people the day before Thanksgiving, because again, they're not open on Thanksgiving. So they'll get that meal on Thanksgiving. So on that particular day, some people could get up to 3 meals on that Wednesday before, depending if they're on Meals on Wheels or not. Or even 2. So they could still come in and get the grab and go, but they also are going to have another meal that it is frozen that comes from Heart to Home. And I believe it was turkey and cranberry orange sauce with squash. And there was, I believe, the butternut squash soup. And there was also a piece of apple pie. So it was very large meal. So for that one, the Police Association, the union, agreed to pay that meal. And again, that's coming from Heart to Home. I'm still working with the fire department, the fire association. I just got them the numbers of what it would be for the Christmas meal. And so I don't want to talk too much about that until I get to talk with them a little bit more. But those are all other opportunities that are coming up. So again, my focus right now is nutrition and mental health. And I think that the COAs, like all the staff, we're working so hard answering phones and taking orders and things like that. And we're doing exactly what my goal was. Does anybody have questions?
Betsy has a question. You got to unmute your phone.
Sorry about that, folks. I have a comment, actually. I just wanted to give kudos to Holly and Christine. Sounds like you've done an enormous amount of work for this, and to me, it's so important. I mean, you're providing food to people. So I just think you're doing a great job, and thumbs up.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. We're planning on keeping this program going at least through February, and then we'll reassess, whatever the pandemic is at that point. But thank you, Betsy. That means a lot.
Holly, I have a question. Can those with disabilities, there are seniors that get Meals on Wheels, who are some of them in the early stages of dementia, and some of them who are severely handicapped, who have caregivers.
Mhm.
Can a caregiver apply for this?
Sure. I would never turn somebody away from getting a meal. That I would say that, our first priorities are those who are, either homebound or isolated at home, under nutrition, I'm missing the word right now, but, vulnerable from, not having the nutrition they need. But yes, in fact, I do believe we have 2 people on our list that are not seniors that are receiving these, that are in the program.
Then also, if somebody is unable to come and pick it up, like Meals on Wheels, a lot of them are unable to come and pick it up. How do you propose to get the meals to them?
So what we have decided with that, because it has come up, so we know that there are circumstances, especially if it's snowing out, that they might not be able to get there, and we will make exceptions. However, we do explain to people that if they want the delivery option, that they should call Elder Services of Worcester and get on the Meals on Wheels.
Okay.
And the reason for that is we just don't want to get into we're not Meals on Wheels, and I don't want to take that away from Meals on Wheels. So we make that very clear to everybody that we can do an exception, but that's where we have to say, we can't do anymore.
Barbara?
I just have a question about thank you for the police union agreeing to pay for and deliver. Are they going to also deliver the meals? But anyway, thank you. But you said we're going to continue this. Does that mean for every holiday?
No, so we're going to continue the grab and go, not for the holidays. So, no, the police union is not delivering the meals. The Heart to Home out of Marlboro, they actually deliver the meals. It's all incorporated into the price. What we will do after is, we will send thank you letters to the police union, for recognition, and let people know. Where, we're not doing this to get recognition or anything like that. But I did feel it was important to mention here. I do see Zoya's hand up.
Is the elder service concerned in any way that we're trying to take over some of their
No, they understand. No, they understand. I did work with a couple of people from Elder Services because at first they didn't understand why we were doing this, and now that reports to us all the time that their Meals on Wheels, the clientele is growing, and it has to do with this. And I'm expecting I would expect that when this program finishes, and people are no longer receiving the meals, that they'll reach out to Elder Services. And we'll stay in close contact with them too to make sure, are you getting the meals, and really try to, work with them and get them comfortable to get on the Elder Services program. But I have to say, Elder Services was very happy with what we're doing.
Any other questions on this subject? Okay, we can move on.
Okay, the next topic was, so one of the calls that we get quite frequently is people that want to prepare seniors in town for snow removal. They don't know who to call, and the building repair group that I am in contact with, who have been, I also want to thank them. I don't know if any of them have been watching, but they've been doing a lot of work on the background, but they don't offer snow removal. So I just wanted to ask the board what has been done in past years, if anything, to assist seniors with either shoveling or, plowing of their driveways.
I remember Walter had some kind of a list of people. I don't know if that list has been maintained or updated, but for small repairs and snow removal and things like that.
So I just mentioned, so I have been in contact with the repair group, and they've been fantastic going out and doing odd jobs at people's homes, but they don't do snow removal. I've already them. They don't do that. So my thought was maybe to reach out to, Boy Scouts or Eagle Scouts to see if they, if there was anybody within their families. Obviously, they're too young to drive a plow truck, but maybe they know something where they can still get credit for coming out and, shoveling some walkways, or even the Girl Scouts. Even I just wasn't sure if they're in the past, if the Senior Center Council on Aging had anything set up, but it sounds to me like there wasn't. So that sounds like something that's got to be on my radar for to try to get people some assistance. I definitely don't want people to get snowed in.
Does anybody have any other questions? Before we move on, Virginia had sent in a question that she wanted to know if the grab and go meals are still free, or whether the free program ended in September.
No, this is the sponsor, the Feed a Senior. This is the program, the sponsorship that we're doing right now. So right now, because of the information we found from September, we have the sponsorship Feed a Senior. So yes, right now the grab and go meals are free until further notice.
But it's not being paid by the senior center. I mean, by the Council on Aging. It's being paid from this fund.
Yes.
Louise?
Yeah, I had a question, Holly. We've talked about this for a couple months. The Youth and Family Services Survey. I thought we were going to talk about that this month. I found the article that was in the Community Advocate in August when the Family Services went to the selectmen and their presentation. And
Louise, excuse me. Just hold that for a second. Are we done talking about grab and go meals? Does anybody have any questions directly related to grab and go meals before we move on to another topic?
Yes, I have. How are we labeling this funding for the grab and go meals? What does it come under?
The money it gets put into our gift fund, and it is labeled Help Feed a Senior. So we know, this is how we keep track of how much money we have. Go ahead, Christine.
I also have a spreadsheet, Zoya, where I'm recording everyone who makes a contribution and all of the meals that we allocate to seniors. that factors in how many meals that they actually receive in a month. So say Joe Smith gets allocated 20 meals, but only wants to receive 15. We're going to roll over 5 into December. And I have a whole sheet that keeps track of all of the money and where it's going.
Since we are a nonprofit organization, is it all right for us to receive this money?
Yes, this isn't fundraising, this is sponsorship. So this is sponsoring a program. It's not, we're not fundraising, we're not putting out any efforts or anything like that. We're not soliciting in a fundraising manner. So these are donations.
Okay.
Are there any other questions on the subject specifically related to grab and go or to anything like that? Related to grab and go or to Meals on Wheels, anything like that? Somebody just joined.
Oh, that's me. I lost my internet connection, so I'm joining by phone.
Oh, all right. All right, if we don't have any further questions, thank you, Holly. Appreciate your input on the grab and go meals. And actually not just, it's a whole feeding thing that we're doing that's, I think, very important, especially to the seniors. Your next, do you want to address the SYFS question now or at the end of your list?
No, I could do that now.
Go ahead.
Louise, is that what you? Yes. So Elizabeth Peter Leitner, she is our new outreach coordinator. She starts on November 16th. Barbara, I'll spell that for you. So it's Elizabeth with an S, and her last name is Peter Leitner. It's PETERLEITNER. So she starts on Monday, November 16th. So what I would like is a month before we discuss about SYSF, FS, and to really kind of dig into some of these topics with Elizabeth so she can become familiar. But I will tell you that, yes, so I have met with, months ago, I met with Kristen Loss, Kevin Mizikar, Kristen Mowry, Jennifer Rifkin, and some of the Housing Authority members were on a call, and we talked about the issues that came up from the assessment. And one of the things that we all found was that a lot of the top things that were an issue had resolved either themselves or with time had resolved or with the exchange of staff, if you will. So, staff leaving, new staff coming on. So a lot of those things, like I said, kind of fix themselves. And the items that, the one item that I'm still eager to fix is, the outreach coordinator's position, that role, because obviously everybody knows that it's been vacant for many. So one of the issues in the assessment, if you had read it or, attended the Board of Selectmen's meeting, watched it, they mentioned about, the outreach person not getting out enough. So now when Elizabeth starts, and this was all mentioned in her interview, that the outreach coordinator would actually, most of their time would be spent out of the senior center. And so that is one, and to form more relationships. So that was one of, I think, the biggest things that was on the assessment, as far as an issue that, that the coordinator needed. First of all, he needed more hours and needed to get out more. So those are going to happen. And I'm very, very eager to work with Elizabeth to make sure she forms those relationships. And one of the things I mentioned to her was that even though the senior center is from 8 to 4:30, that doesn't mean that needs to be what her hours are. If she finds that, because we still have some working seniors. So if she finds that there's a day that she needs to work in the evening out of the office or from home or whatever it needs to be, even if it's, on a Saturday going into a Dunkin' Donuts. So I want to work with her to make sure that she's as available to the community as possible. So like I said, in that assessment, that was one of the biggest concerns. And I want to let you know that other concerns have been resolved, and this is the one we're going to work on going forward. So I don't know if you have any other questions with that, Louise.
So go ahead.
Is Holly, the drivers who take the meals for Meals on Wheels, they are one of the first people to come in contact with seniors who are affected in some way or the other.
Yes.
Should they have a meeting with the coordinator so that they know exactly whom to approach and what to approach with?
Yes. So a couple of things are going to change when Elizabeth starts. So yes, so our outreach coordinator will be in touch with the caseworker that works with ESWA. Because of HIPAA laws and things like that, they don't give me any information. So the Meals on Wheels drivers, even though we pay them $5 a route, they actually are employees of Elder Services. So when they see something, they then report it to Elder Services. So when we get our outreach coordinator in, they will form that relationship, and Elizabeth's job will be then to work with that caseworker and to reach out to the senior if that's necessary. So that's how those relationships work. And I agree with you. Meals on Wheel workers are super important. And I didn't know this until like one day, somebody, a Meals on Wheels driver, when I first started back in January, came to me with a concern, and I wasn't aware of how things worked. And I called Elder Services, and they, pretty much educated me on the process. So that is the process. And so, there'll be somebody that works with Elder Services. They'll work with St. Anne's. They'll work with the library. They'll work with SYFS. They'll work with the churches. So the list goes on and on and on. So, like I said, I'm very excited to get Elizabeth out there soon.
Louise, you had a question?
I just was wondering if any of this is from the youth and family service thing, if they have a report, any kind of written report or anything like that that we could look at. We have not seen anything that came from them. I mean, it's been about over a year now, and we have seen absolutely nothing of the survey or the results or any kind of action or proposals. Or only thing I have is this newsletter article on their meeting. And
so I can share the report with you, with everyone. I can share the report. As far as going forward, the purpose of the survey and the report was to build a better foundation and collaboration between all of the organizations. And I'm going to say that I feel as though I've been on top of all of those relationships, and I speak with probably every single one of those organizations on a weekly basis, or as needed. And I also hear from them a lot now, more too, because I've reached out, and not only them, but I've built a relationship with Orchard Grove and Whittier Rehab and Marlboro. Southgate just reached out to me because they've been reading our newsletters and things like that. So the list is growing. So we're doing exactly what we should be doing. But I'd be happy to share that report with you prior to December's meeting. And then we'll have some time to talk about it, because I'll be able to show Elizabeth also.
if I may, Shashi,
Go ahead.
I just think that the board needs a little more information than we're getting. I think, if we are to do our job as board members and to keep up to date on what's going on and this kind of thing, we really need to get some more information. So I would appreciate anything that you would share with us that's going on. I said things that, like the bingo, I didn't realize was going on. I mean, there's so many things that are going on that we are not aware of. And they're wonderful things. I mean, it's great that they're doing and you're doing them. I just think maybe a heads up to the board, quick email or something or other to let us know exactly and how you do this. And if someone or we have friends that we want to recommend it to or whatever kind of thing. So
sure.
Actually,
since-
Louise, the point that Louise made, I just want to add to that. It's kind of embarrassing if you're a board member and you find out a program from somebody else. Oh, such and such a program. Haven't you heard about it? No, we just found out. That's not a good way to be. Do it, Barbara.
I find out about all those things because I signed up to get emails sent automatically to me for anything that Holly puts out from the senior center. So I knew all about all those programs. So I would think that probably just having people it's very easy. You just click a box so that everything coming out of the senior center will come to you automatically in an email. I knew all about all those programs. So maybe we should communicate to the seniors and our board to do that so that we could get, so that we know right away the first minute when something starts.
That's it.
So I would agree with Barbara. I too, Barbara, signed up for the emails, and almost every day I get an email from the Council on Aging with regard to the programs that are being offered, and it's pretty impressive. Bingo was quite a while ago. It's ongoing, so I would encourage all of you to do the same. They do a good job of keeping the public, those who have signed up for the emails, keeping us, the public, and the board informed of the programs that are happening.
Barbara?
Two points. First of all, yes, I can't believe all of the things that are going on in the senior center. It's blowing my mind. That report, that survey, that's in the past. That survey is what was our problem. What were our problems, and now I cannot believe how much is going on, and we can't even line dance. I mean, all this is happening, and we can't even be in there. So yeah. I just think that's wonderful, and yes, I am looking forward to the announcement that line dancing is going to be available at the senior center in person soon.
Louise, you had a question?
No, I'm fine. I agree with everything that was said.
Well, usually we find out, yes, even if I were to sign up for the news, for the notification from the town, we will find out about a program after the program has been put in place, not before.
Well, sometimes I have to tell you, sometimes things do develop in a day. So if I see something that another town is doing and I want to really just hit the ground running, I do. And the things that I do utilize is, we do the news flashes, just as Betsy and Barbara, have mentioned. That's one of our biggest tools, and it is on our website. I do put it in the newsletter, and like I said, so when we meet each month, I kind of go through. So, like for instance, I've already told you about something I'm planning for January. So the Commit to Be Fit is being planned in January. But by the time I meet with you again, I might want to. My brain doesn't stop. So I just want to keep offering people things all the time. And sometimes you're right. Sometimes, so like, I forget to send out an email to a board because I'm working so hard to get this program up and running. I would also suggest that if any of you at any time, if you don't hear from me, you can certainly send me an email or give me a call and just say, hey, what's going on this week, or anything like that. Just because, I mean, we don't stop when we're at the center. And, except for our lunch breaks, where I encourage all of the staff to try to get out and, get up and move around and leave the building. Everybody is just, nonstop. We've got happy birthday cards going out. We have thank you cards going out. So there's just all kinds of things going on. So and a lot of times I get emails from people from the board, and even people from the community who are giving me ideas and be like, and that's happening more. People are like, hey, look at this, and maybe this is something you can do. So I apologize for not updating on everything. But I also welcome anybody to contact me on any given day.
Louise, I'm right with you. Betsy was here first. Betsy, go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead, Betsy.
Sorry, this whole business about the muting is slowing me down. I wouldn't want to make Holly wait a month to be proactive about launching a program which she knows is going to reach people. A month is a long time to get approval for something. So I think there's a certain amount of trust that we want to have in Holly, that she knows what needs to be done and she can do it in a moment's notice. And based on all the things that I see on email every day, I think she's doing exactly that. I would just hate to throw roadblocks in the way of her responsiveness to our senior population.
Louise?
Yes, I definitely agree, Betsy. I think it's wonderful what's going on. And it's something that I never dreamed would ever happen. Through all these years that we've been doing other kinds of things. We're very happy with what's going on, Holly.
Thank
you. You mentioned the birthday card you're sending out. Do we have a copy of the final one that you agreed on to send out?
Yeah, I sent that last month. We looked at it last month.
How many did you order? I know we had several.
I think there were 500.
500? Oh, okay. I don't, I hadn't heard the final count.
Yeah, and again, we only mail those out to people 90 and over, just to kind of that the Council on Aging is there. And we're still making those calls. One thing that I did want to mention that I spoke with Kristen Lass, Assistant Town Manager, about is because I asked her, when we don't meet for a month, just as Betsy just mentioned, I don't want to have to wait a month to either purchase something or to move forward with something. So I was talking to Kristen about the COA board and the relationship, and she specified that the COA board is an advisory board and that I can go ahead and purchase things as long as I always tell the board what's going on. So when you get those reports, you see things so next month you're going to see a line item for pedometers and water bottles, because that was something I wanted to make sure that I had all of the eggs in the basket before I go and tell people about the Commit to Be Fit program. So I just want to make sure that everybody's aware. So any big items like the freezer, of course, I'm going to come and talk to you guys. We're going to look at it and things like that. But some things I can't wait on. And so I just wanted to make sure that I shared that piece of the conversation that I had with Kristen. And I meet with Kristen every single Wednesday at 3:00 habitually, and we talk about all the things that are going on. So her and I have a great relationship, and then she reports off to Kevin. So if anything ever comes up, they notify me, and we all kind of get together and work through whatever it is, or I just give them more information on what's going on.
Anybody else? Any other questions?
The only thing I wanted to mention really quick, I just wanted to talk about the transportation program right now. So we're still going, and every day is like a roller coaster. We have yet to have 4 vans on at the same time. We're still not collecting fares. I am meeting with Kevin and Kristen this afternoon to talk about collecting fares for starting in January, because right now the RTA has decided not to collect fares until December 31st, through the rest of this calendar year. But I'm going to meet with the town managers this afternoon to figure out how we're going to, what we're going to do in January, because as we know, when we get those fares for the COA vans, though, that money goes into our revolving account, and that's how we pay for the maintenance of our COA vans. So, we have lost some funds there. And it's a hit that was unavoidable, but I am meeting with them. But so the transportation, so we have 7 drivers right now, and sometimes we have a full day, and sometimes we have 1 ride, 2 rides. Sometimes we broker things out to Yellow Cab, because it doesn't make sense to, if a driver comes in, we pay them for the minimum of 3 hours. And so sometimes we broker out those 1 rides to Yellow Cab, because it just makes more sense and it's easier on the staff. But transportation is still going. And one of the things that we're offering is earlier transportation to take advantage of shopping hours that are designated just for seniors. A lot of the stores, I'm sure you've seen, have early birds, and they're just for seniors. So when Cynthia answers the phone, or anybody answers the phone and people are requesting a ride, we are telling them and letting them know that, it's available. They can go when it's just for seniors. And that will also be in the December newsletter that I'm working on too. So we're still trying to push it and we're still trying to get people to where they're going. But doctors are canceling on patients. Now the COVID is going up, people are canceling their rides. So my goal for fiscal year 21 was to increase transportation. And I'm not letting go of that goal, but we definitely have some hurdles. So I just wanted to give that update on the
What's
transportation.
the update on route match?
So we're still working with Route Match. As a matter of fact, Cynthia, the other day I needed a specific report for a project that I'm doing. And Cynthia worked with Route Match to figure out how to get that report. So it's funny. So she knows exactly how to use it. And until I ask her something specific or town managers ask for something specific, that's where the more education part comes in. So she then reaches out to them. So now she's just learned how to pick reports. So I needed to know from March, the day we closed on March 16th to yesterday's date, how much revenue loss did we lose out of fares? And it took her a little while, but she was able to figure that out. So it's a great tool that, that she's learning. So I think Route Match is, as complicated as it can be sometimes. I think that Cynthia is doing the best that she can. And learning more, I should say.
Anybody else? The My Senior Center waiver form. I understand you're no longer doing that, but.
Correct. Yep, so we omitted it. I talked with Kristen last. We omitted it. And instead we just, we put in a box that just said, I have received an opportunity to read the policies and procedures, and they just checked the box. And she said that that is as good as the waiver. So that people will understand the policies and procedures of the senior center. So the waiver, it doesn't exist anymore.
Good.
Go ahead. What's left on your item is the senior holiday meals. I think we've covered everything. Louise, do you have any questions carried over from before that you need to?
No, I think we talked about all of them.
All right, good. The only question I have is, I'm sorry, Zoya has a question.
This is on the new business. I'll let you finish and then I'll mention.
Go ahead.
The new business is the town and the selectmen have started a new task force, which is known as the Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Task Force. I represent the Council on Aging. We've had 2 meetings. There are about 20 of us from different ethnic backgrounds. And the first was just an introductory meeting. The second one was about our vision of what we want to do. And then they're going to divide us into groups and see how we can proceed with this.
Very good. That sounds exciting.
Are there any actions or anything that we should be doing?
Not yet.
I guess we're done. Anybody have any questions? We're even on time. 5 minutes left.
Whoa.
The only thing is, I want to assure Betsy that I wasn't in any way trying to belittle a community college. I was afraid, in fact, I've noticed that community college students are often being given the short shrift. If you look at the scholarships awarded by the town, it seems to go to the valedictorians and the super duper students, whereas somebody who wants to go to community college doesn't often seem to get those scholarships. And I want to make sure the wording is such that they are in the running for it. You have any suggestions?
Oh my gosh, no, I personally don't off the top of my head, but I can certainly talk to the financial aid and the admissions people at Quincy. We have a lot of top students. We have a lot of top students that come from Shrewsbury High School, to be perfectly frank.
That's right.
Go to the community college because of the transfer option. But don't get me started on that, because I'll spend, the next half an hour talking about the benefits of a community. I'm done.
I do want to just mention one thing, since we were talking about programs before. I did reach out to the school department, and I don't know if anybody's seen, but we're trying to get a pen pal, intergenerational pen pal program going.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of seniors call inquiring about it. This is with the Sherwood Middle School sixth graders. I believe they're called the Purple Team. So, I encourage everybody to, especially seniors, to do letter writing with the kids because, and I'm just going to say this, this is kind of off the topic. My kids don't even know how to fill out an envelope. So I would love our seniors, that generation, anybody that wants to do this, because it's only going to help the kids too, and it's going to help, isolation at home.
Betsy?
I think Zoya was before me.
Zoya, go ahead.
The stamps are expensive. We need to think about that.
So when people call and they ask about that, that is an expense that we tell them that we will purchase any of the supplies if they need them.
Okay.
Betsy?
I was just going to suggest to Holly that it might be a good idea to reach out to the curriculum coordinators at the middle school to put a unit into the curriculum with that would focus on letter writing. I mean, and not only is it a personal skill, but it's a job skill. And
Right.
they could include that in a writing curriculum.
Well, I think that's why they're doing it, to be honest, to incorporate that. Because between that and filling out checks, these kids today, my kids, they don't have a clue. Right. But yes, so I believe that is why sixth grade in particular. I don't know how Shrewsbury works, but I think sixth grade is the beginning of middle school, not fifth grade, because I think fifth grade is elementary and then it goes sixth. So I think that's why they're incorporating the sixth graders to kind of try to learn that. But in order for it to be, successful, we need people to sign up for it. It doesn't have to be, every day, every week. It can be once a month, but just some kind of, companionship, through all of this.
As a, depending upon what happens with COVID, as a final project, if you will, or a wrap up at the end of the school year, wouldn't it be fun to have like a picnic on the grounds of the senior center where the letter writer is matched up with his or her senior recipient?
I agree completely. And we are also offering the opportunity that if people aren't comfortable with exchanging paper mail, we are offering opportunities to do emails back and forth.
Right.
So if people don't want to touch paper, because some people are really taking a lot of precautions, we want to still give that opportunity to do the letter writing through email.
But what a great way to encourage young kids to understand the value of us, the seniors.
Right. Agreed.
Holly, I want to bring up a topic. We don't have to discuss this today, but something to keep in the back of your mind, all of you, and that is the safety and security issue. Yes, we're no longer requiring a waiver for those who are applying for My Senior Center, but we really need to think about safety and security of the building and the people who come here who may not have a My Senior Center card. For instance, we're getting those raised beds and we're starting intergenerational programs. The teenagers who are going to be working with the seniors they're not going to have My Senior Center cards. And if somebody gets himself cut with a knife or a spade or whatever it is, we're going to be liable. And we have to address that issue at some point.
Well, I believe all of those, if God forbid something like that happens, I believe it all falls under the regular town offices of their liability. For instance, during the polls a week ago, someone fell. And that's the reason why, the town of Shrewsbury carries insurance, in case that happens. So I believe that the center, all of the town property it all falls under that same liability. I don't believe that each building has to come up with their own procedures for that.
Okay. Louise, any questions? Claire?
No.
Barbara? Betsy?
No,
Norma?
Okay.
All right, if someone make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second,
Louise, are you in favor?
Yes,
Norma?
Yes.
Barbara?
Yes.
Soya?
Yes.
Betsy?
yes.
Meeting is adjourned.
Have a good day, everybody.
Holly?
everybody,
you.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.